Hey Glow Getters, it's your girl Ariel Rose.
And I'm Khadija J.
And welcome back to Grind and Glow. So I'm going to try to get through the show without dying, you guys, So if I sound terrible, it's because I'm dying. And the worst part about dying is not knowing you're dying. And what I mean is, don't look at me like that.
Oh
and what
my
I mean
gosh,
is,
y'all.
I did not know for like the first 2 days of this, I did not know if it was allergies or if I was actually sick, because I've never had allergies before. But this pollen is on some new age mess this year, and I'm still blaming global warming. I don't care, fight me. And I'm just like, I can't.
Pollen is real. It's real.
And I have a white car. Okay, so like, it's like a constant battle between, am I gonna wash my car?
Oh, sis, mine is black, so everything shows. At this point, I literally just pull the hose off the side of the house and rinse it off every 2 days. I'm not finna pay my money.
I asked for rain today, and it did rain today, because I was like, my car needs to be washed, but I'm not gonna go pay to get my car washed for it to just be covered in pollen 2 seconds later.
Yeah, absolutely not. Like, it's just not happening. It's a waste of money. Why would I do that to myself?
Absolutely.
No.
So I did want to have a little quick chat with you real quick, because I had to have a little self-reflection myself. It was like a few weeks ago, but it's coming towards the end of the semester, and y'all know one of the first episodes we did was Cross the Finish Line. And as we always say, it's not about finishing in 4 years, it's about finishing, period. So for all of my students that maybe according to a specific track and finishing in 4 years, you're supposed to graduate this semester or next semester, and you're not, I just want to reinforce that it's okay. I know right now we are seeing graduation photos and people getting job offers, and we can be our biggest critics, and we can be so hard on ourselves, because I know I am. And I was even having this conversation with my mom, and she was like, you were so hard on yourself. Like, I didn't even know you were this hard on yourself. So like, we can really be our biggest critics, but at the same time, we have to be our biggest fans and our biggest hype men. So for everyone, that if you were where I was, stay strong. You're making progress. I'm proud of you if you're not proud of yourself, which you should be. But I just really, really wanted to reinforce that, because I even had that moment myself. But seriously, stay on track. Keep with your progress. I'm proud of you.
Oh, absolutely. Because, I was that person. As soon as graduation, I didn't have a job coming right after graduation. I didn't get a job till almost 3 months after I graduated, y'all. So I promise you, it's coming. Like, yeah, there are some people where it happens instantly before they even graduate, but reality of it, a lot of times that doesn't happen for us, and you just have to trust the process and be patient.
For sure.
Like, something's coming. Is not always going to be like that. Like I said, eventually the sun will have to come out. So like you said, just keep your head up. We can be our biggest critics, and that is our biggest downfall and weakness as humans. So you just have to know, just take a step back and realize it's gonna be okay. It's not the end of the world. Something's going to work itself out.
Absolutely. So yeah, go getters, we're definitely, if y'all ever feel down or anything like that, I promise we will hype y'all so much that if you just need to slide in our DMs for just a little self gratification, it's okay. Sometimes we need it, and we will boost you.
Hype man on 2019. I got you. I'm hyping out here, not even charging to hype you. I'm a free hype man. Free.
Y'all, I'm really gonna try to make it through the show without dying. Okay, so welcome to 24/7. All right, so as we were already kind of talking about school, for me, it's balancing school, balancing work, balancing when we were during basketball season, balancing practices and games, and still having time for myself, for my relationship, still wanting to travel, because y'all know that's an extreme priority to me. So we're trying to figure out how to do it. We're not perfect at it, but we have found some ways that work for us. For you, it's a little different what you have to balance.
Yeah, it is, because definitely I struggled with it in school, trying to work full time and going to school. And I thought it was hard then, because my main focus, of course, was graduating, but of course still being able to financially help myself out. And so now it's kind of like the tables have turned, because now that I am done with school, literally my life is work. And so now it's I don't have to worry about school, but then I work full time, so I have to make that balance of work, having time for friends, having time for other relationships, having time to travel and do things that I want. And then at the end of the day, still having time for myself on top of actually still producing a show for y'all. Like, that's part of my job as well, too.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like, I literally have to have an agenda. Like, I'm not even in school anymore, but I still have to have an agenda because I have so many other things going on that is, you just have to find that work balance. And then especially, like, I just started a new job. I'm only going on week 4. And I commute, so that's even playing a factor into that as well, and like my sleep schedule and just getting everything. So it definitely has been an adjustment. I'm getting used to it, sort of, kind of. It's not easy. I'm not all the way used to it, but it is an adjustment. And at the end of it all, you are grateful for it. Like, it's definitely worth the sacrifices and stuff, because once you find that balance, it just makes life so much easier, and it's like it just becomes your everyday norm.
Right. And it's all about finding the right balance for you. And we're saying this all the time, that realizing what's best for you is really what's extremely important. Like, that's number one. So even though it's something that might work for us, it might not be something that works for you. But if you figure out what works for you and it's not something that we do, you can even tell us about it, and it's maybe something we can incorporate in our daily, like, schedule and something like that. But we have broken down 5 tips for you all that will help you gain that work, life, fun, play, and serious balance. So the first thing we say is keep an updated schedule. Now, whether you have an actual agenda like Khadijah and I, which we are fanatics about our agendas, or you use your apps, like you have an actual app, or you use your regular phone calendar, whatever it is, just make sure you keep it up to date. So what I do personally is I have an agenda and then I have a notebook. And so I keep up, like, at the beginning of the year when I get my syllabus, I put down a semester's worth of stuff in my agenda from jump. So then, like, I can kind of keep up with my assignments. But then in my notebook, I'll write what I have to do for the week, and I make to-do lists for myself. And y'all know we have chimed on to-do lists on I don't know how many episodes, because they are the key to life. I'm so serious, y'all. And just the gratification, which I've said before too, of crossing something off your to-do list is so fulfilling.
Girl, once I highlight it, like, it's done.
Exactly.
Like, I don't got to keep writing it on the next day because it's done.
You can cross that box off. Like, it's such a gratifying feeling crossing something off your to-do list. But for me, that's what works best. And some people are, like, really meticulous, in which you are, I know this, in picking what agenda you get, because, like, some agendas even have it broken down to, like, hours and stuff. Like, I'm not that extra with my agenda. I also have a smaller one than Khadijah. I have, like, a travel size one, and it is always in my purse everywhere I go. My agenda literally is with me.
It's gotten a little smaller. Mine is in my purse now. It can fit in purses now, so it's a little bit smaller.
You have a textbook?
No, I don't. It's a little bit smaller.
Okay, sure.
Oh my gosh, y'all don't listen to her.
It's not bad. I mean, if that's your thing, go do it. But yes, so the biggest thing is, you know, just keep an updated schedule. So why I was saying, you know, I keep my notebook with a week schedule too, is because I'm not going to remember everything I have to do for the entire month. I'm simply not. My memory's trash. If you don't know me, my memory's trash. So I literally have to make a weekly list for myself, and that's what really works for me. But is there something that you do that's slightly different?
I would say it's kind of like the same. I mean, like she said, I do buy agendas that, like, break a lot of stuff down, just because I already have a big purse and it's heavy, so I don't want to make it even more heavier than myself, because I be having iPads in there. And I will say I am a really big tech person, so I have so many electronic things that I use my phones and stuff as stuff too. So that's why I always have my iPad, because if it's something I didn't write down, or if it's something that I need to do, especially like podcast work, like, I'm always on the go, but I can still get stuff done. And so as far as, like, my agenda, like I said, I get the ones that, you know, break stuff down, and I do write stuff down for the month, because now not being in school, it's like I'm an adult for real. So, like, I gotta write down when people having baby showers, gender reveals, birthdays. So it's like, my agendas,
for real.
Right, my agendas have literally become an adult life. Like, when friends tell me something's going on, like, I literally have to write it down, or I'm not gonna remember it, because, like, right now my work life is just like work. So I mean, I do write down everything for the month, and then of course, like, it breaks it down for stuff for, like, the days. And I guess I kind of do like what you do in the notebook. It's just already in the agenda, so I write stuff down for that full week, like stuff that I already know is gonna happen that week. I'll write it in on those days, or stuff that I need to do, like appointments or anything like that. And then it's like, just as the days go on, if something happens to change or pop up or gets moved, I may just cross it out, or I'll just go ahead and pencil it in right then and there once it's been added. So it's kind of the same. And I mean, like, y'all, an agenda is literally like my life. Like, it is. Like,
so seriously,
trying to do that work balance. I don't know how people make it through life, what they do, but I can't do it without it. Like, if I had a personal assistant that I can walk around with me everywhere, that probably would make my life greater. Now I see why rich folks have personal assistants. Like, that's one less thing you got to worry about. But like she said, I mean, just do what's best for you and what's going to help you remember, because we all have our own techniques. If you got to set alarms to remind you for stuff, reminders on your phone so it's always pinging you, because we always have our phones in our hand. So if you set one in your phone. I've never used
the reminder app.
See, I've used it, but I don't think I've fully used the function, so I probably don't know how to work it completely.
That's probably because what it is for me.
I set it up and it gives me the reminders, but it's not like it actually like rings or notifies me. It just pops up. Like, it doesn't vibrate, it doesn't ring, nothing.
Yeah.
And like, it'll even sync to like my computer and stuff, but it's like, it'll just pop up like you have something today. It doesn't like notify me to where I'm gonna look at it.
Gotcha.
It's just, it'll be in my hand and then it pops up and it's like, oh hey.
That's probably what happened to me too. That's probably why I didn't use it anymore.
Yeah, that sounds
But
right.
you are way more tech savvy than me. But yeah, so on to tip number 2. So procrastination is not your friend. It's not. Don't procrastinate. And I'm kind of being a hypocrite, I'm not gonna lie saying this, but it's something I'm working on, so we can work on it together. But no, seriously, because I'm so terrible. I can have an assignment due on Wednesday, and I know it's due on Wednesday because I have it on my weekly calendar, okay?
Right.
And I will still wait until Wednesday to do it because it's due at 11:59. But I knew that from Sunday when I made my weekly agenda.
Absolutely.
So be better than me, and we can work on this together. But listen to me when I say procrastination is not your friend. I promise. And this is like, okay, this is proven true with us working on the podcast.
Oh, absolutely. I was gonna say, it's not even just school.
No. With us working on the podcast, like, if we had procrastinated on making up content for you all, we would be screwed.
We would. And I will say, even not even just content, like, we kind of got slack there. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Like, we set out days to do stuff, and then things happen, and
Life
procrastination came in, and it pushed us back to record. So now it's kind of like cram time for us to get stuff out to you. So it's like, when you do procrastinate, it does have a ripple effect,
right? It
into
catches
everything
up to
else
you
that you do. So it's like, you kind of don't want to do it, because then you see the aftermath, and now you're like, oh my gosh, why did I do this to myself?
Exactly.
And it does suck. So like we said, not even with just school, like when it comes to work, even my mom still always tells me, like, there's stuff I may need, important documents, and I'll wait till the day that I need it, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm crashing, like, trying to figure out how I'm gonna get it in time. And she's like, you should have did it when I told you. Like, look, sis, let me just be me. You knew it wasn't happening then. You know me by now. Almost 25 years of my life, ain't nothing changed, sis.
You really want to be 25?
Anyway, sis, I'll be 25 in like 3 months. What month are we in? March? April?
You said what month are we?
Okay,
oh
yeah,
my
3
God.
months.
Y'all. Oh my God. Anyway,
I'm not in school no more, so I'm not on the time frame. Like, the days just move.
We already established that you're not the math whiz. All right.
Unless it's money.
Okay, fair.
Nah.
Fair. You know what? Everybody's math skills bump up a few notches when it comes to money. You're
yeah.
right. Unless it's different currencies. That's a different topic. Anyways, no, but for real, procrastination is not your friend. And literally, we have all seen it in our lives countless amounts of times. So it's just, for that agenda is really to cut the procrastination. So it's like, okay, if I didn't have that weekly reminder, though, if I didn't write down my weekly agenda, my procrastination in me would not even allow me to remember that I had something due on that Wednesday. But because I have it written down, and when you write stuff down, you remember it more. So because I had it written down, I'm remembering that I have something to do. Even though I'm doing it on Wednesday, it's better than me thinking about it on Thursday. Right. You feel me? So that's that.
And then just to chime on that too, kind of how I said, like, and don't get me wrong, I'm kind of a hypocrite too, like in college and whatnot, we're the biggest procrastinators. But the sooner you can kind of like cut procrastination down, I promise you it's going to help you in the long run, like once you adult for real and you're out of school. Because if you continue like that procrastination all the way through college up until graduation, it's like that does affect you and how you perform in the real world, in the workplace. And that's not something that you want to carry over, because it can come around to bite you in the butt, like big time, especially when it comes to work. And you don't want to be that person where you get this good job and you have this like corporate job or the job that you wanted, but you still have those bad habits of procrastinating. And now your boss is looking at you like, okay, they can't count on you, or is this too much for you? And it's like, dang, I just got the position I wanted, dream position or whatever, but I'm not meeting up to the standards that I need to be. So just try and make sure that that's not something that you keep going getting out of college. Like, yeah, it's all nice, fun, and dandy, but just kind of make sure that you kind of just work on that. So what else we have on here? Get sleep, y'all. I know we joke around all the time about sleeping a lot, but when we say get sleep,
we mean it.
We really mean it. Like, with me starting this job, like I said, I work 5 days out the week. I literally work a 40-hour week. I commute an hour to and from work. If I didn't have sleep, I don't know how I would make it. Like, I really don't. So that's something really important, because I mean, like we said in a previous podcast, like, sleep plays an important role, because the more sleep that you have and rested, the more energized that you are throughout the day, and you can get a lot of stuff done, and you have the energy to want to do stuff, and you don't feel all lackadaisical throughout the day.
And I'm someone that's a night owl. I've been a night owl literally my entire life. And so I think something that we do, especially when we're young, is like, oh, I can survive off of 3 hours of sleep. Let me just take a quick 2-hour nap and I'll be straight for the rest of the day. And we be screwed. We be in class.
Wanted to go out the night before.
We be at our 2:30 class that doesn't end until 3:15. Is that right? Yeah. Until 3:15. And we told you we're not good at math.
At all.
And we be ready to crash in the middle of the day when we have to go into work at 5:30. Yeah. So and you're just hurting yourself, and then you're gonna drag that into the next day, and it's just good. You literally can't catch up on sleep. It's physiologically impossible to catch up on sleep, and we have to stop convincing ourselves that we can, because we literally cannot. So that's something that, like I'm telling y'all, as we're clearly working on it together. That's why we say y'all are along for the ride, because we're not perfect, but we're trying to work on it so we can all work on it together.
Right.
But yes.
So that party y'all want to go to, rethink that again. Like, is it really worth you going to this party?
Or you can go.
Right. But don't stay till the party end and everybody get kicked out at like 2, 3 in the morning. No, take your behind home. Go to sleep. Because you're going to be tired and hurting. Now you like, okay, this class started what time? And then that turns into you not even going to class. Like, don't even set yourself up for that failure.
And that leads us directly into tip number 4, which is prioritize. So just like you just said, thank you so much for that, Khadijah J.
You're welcome.
You're so useful.
I know, I try.
Go to the party, sis. Go to the party, fellas. If you want to, go to the party. But if you tell yourself, I have a 9:30, this party can end at 3, 4, because you might go to somewhere after the spot might actually not be open till that time.
Exactly.
But you might do something after. You might go get food after, whatever the matter might be. But you got a 9:30 in the morning, and you got to be at work at 9:30 in the morning. So if you tell yourself a time you're going to go home, stick to it, because you have priorities. You have to prioritize something. When you start the semester, realize what your most difficult courses are going to be, and like literally look at them and see what's going to be the most difficult to the easiest, and that's how you prioritize your work. And don't misconstrue that concept into not doing work for one class and doing all the work for another class. That's not what I'm saying. But when you prioritize what your difficulties are and what your course load is in those classes throughout the semester, you're better at divvying up your time to what actually needs to be turned in, and then you get more stuff turned in on time and before time too. But like, if you have an online class and it's really just a work at your own speed, that's something, and you have a upper level course that requires a lot of work, that class probably takes priority over your online class. And that's not saying that online class isn't important, but the coursework is probably easier and you probably have like a full week to do it, whereas you have to show up to that upper level course 2 days a week. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about prioritizing.
So yeah, she pretty much covered everything on that. It's really big. And I mean, for those, I can't speak on the ones who aren't in school, because I'm going through that now. It's just kind of course you prioritize work. So it's kind of in a sense with the same thing. Like, if you know you got to be to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, at this point in time, it's really like, do I really need to go downtown into that bar? Like, if you do, cool. But like you said, don't stay till like the club and the bar close at like 2, 3 in the morning. Then you outside chit-chatting with people. Then you know you got to go get food because you hungry. So now you're not even making it home till maybe like almost 4 o'clock in the morning. And you got to be to work at 8. So it's like, think smarter. Like, don't work against your own self. Don't, because you're just going to make it harder. And it's like sometimes too, it's like, is it really worth going out? Like, you gonna see those people, you can make time for it. So prioritize when you want to go out and stuff like that. Sometimes some stuff is just spur of the moment, but if you already knew about something beforehand, kind of like think and just prioritize your time with that. Like, okay, well, if I go, I'll probably only stay for this long because I have this that I need to do. And with that too, y'all definitely prioritize. Like, if you know you got assignments and stuff, dude, don't just be going out all the time knowing you got something to do, and then the last minute you trying to rush and cram and figure it out,
right?
And stuff
and then
like
it's
that.
Something you gotta look up,
right?
Like you gotta
and
do
now
research
you really
on it. You really don't know how to do it.
So it's like, if you really want to go out, okay, if you knew you had this due for a minute, go ahead and get it done. Because I'm pretty sure, unless it's someone just decided to have a spur of the moment party, most stuff you know about it before you finna go do it. So there shouldn't be an excuse of why you couldn't do it. Because an excuse, I went out and I was drunk, or I was asleep, that's not an excuse, y'all. Now you just, yeah,
because even for my student athletes, you know, like, we gotta balance practice and school, and you're not missing practice because you have an assignment due, because you should have already had that assignment done. Y'all know if you're a student athlete, you know exactly what I'm saying. But anyways, so going into our last tip, make time for yourself.
So important.
And this is definitely not, like they say, last but not least. Like, this is definitely not the last thing you need to focus on, but you have to give yourself time. It's so important.
It really is. Even if it's just like an hour out your day, like just to yourself, just chilling. Like, you have to make that time, because we can get so consumed in school and so consumed in work, and then you have all these different things that come up, like depression and anxiety, and you're just overworking yourself, and it starts to become too much, and you try to figure out, like, I can't do this, and you talk yourself out of stuff, and you psych yourself out of stuff, and it's like you're just building up all of this stuff in you because you're just not taking a second and time out to breathe. Like, females, if you want to go get your feet and nails done, your hair done, that's time for yourself. Do that, because you deserve that. You earned that. Like, guys, like, I know y'all play video games and stuff like that, or y'all want to go out with other guys for drinks and stuff like that. Like, just take that time for yourself, because if you don't, it's just gonna eat away at you, and then your life is just gonna become more hectic than it has to be.
Right. And yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. Like, that time away, and we kind of touched on that last week too, that sometimes you really just need that time to yourself. And like you said, even if it's just an hour, like, if you have no responsibilities, kind of like if you're just kind of in school, or you're just kind of in work, and you don't have like a dependent, which is what I mean by not having responsibilities, then you can, an hour is kind of like a set time. You know, like, if you're a mom, you can't really take an hour for yourself. But if you don't have a dependent, like I'm saying, like, take that time to just clear your mind. Like, meditation is great. Take a long shower even. Like, take a bath. Like, seriously, just make sure you find that time. Like, like I've told y'all before, I played tennis for years, and so sometimes the best thing for me to clear my head is literally just to go to the court and hit. If that's something, like, you have something like that, you just go to the batting cages and hit. You just go bowl. Like, if it's something that you love to do, that you know just clears the air for you, you go ride your bike, you go jog, like something. Just find what that is that works for you, and make sure you incorporate that either into your day or into your week, just so that you're well balanced, because it's not just about balancing life and work, but it's about balancing yourself as well.
It is. I mean, we see the memes and stuff and we laugh about it, but it is true. It's called life balance. Like, you have to know how to have that time for yourself.
For sure.
Know when to have that time for responsibilities and that time for work. And they all just tie in together. You just have to know, like, okay, I set this time aside for this, and so I'm going to make sure that I do that. Like, make sure you set that time for yourself. As much as you prioritize everything else, like work, homework, and stuff, you're just as important as all of those things, because if you don't have that, then none of those things even matter, because they're not going to get done, or you're not going to get to them, because now you have to realign and readjust and get yourself back together.
Right, and that's absolutely true. So to recap those 5 tips we have for y'all: 1, keep an updated schedule, keep a planner, whether it's your phone, actual written agenda, whatever it might be. 2, procrastination is not your friend. Make sure you keep up to date on what you write down. Just don't write it down and forget about it. Keep up to date with it. 3, actually get sleep, quality sleep. 4, prioritize. And 5, and definitely not least, make time for yourself. So now, let's get into this what is going on in the world segment, girl.
Yes, because we always got to stay up on top on the latest. So we here to discuss it with y'all.
Let's get into it. First, we're going to get into Sierra. Because in case y'all haven't heard, which I'm sure y'all have.
Right.
So, which I think we just mentioned her like 2 episodes ago or something. So this is ironic. But she is petitioning to change her son's name with Future to Russell Wilson Jr.
Yes, y'all heard her right. Not just give him the last name of Wilson. Literally, physically change this child's name to another man.
And I was curious if you would have a different opinion on it than I, since you know, like, your parents are, well, like, not divorced, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, like, and I've had the same parents, you know. Well, I guess everybody has the same parents their whole life, but my parents have been married my whole life, so there's no one that I could like pick up their name. Like, I don't have a step parent.
Right.
But like, to change your child's whole name, and like, in one of our, you know, Alyssa's brought this up to us. She's the one who brought up the conversation, and her stance on it was like, well, if Future's not being a father to the child, then so be it. But I mean, and we're not in their lives, in their personal, you know, sector and all that good stuff.
Right.
But I think that does play a big part in it.
I think it does. I mean, my opinion, because that child can't really actually say what they want to do. I mean, granted, yes, you are still the parent, but when it comes down to something like big as that, you have to take into that other parent into account, and that child, because granted, no, you and that person may not be together, but if that parent is still in that child's life, you can't just discredit that parent and take that away from them, because they did birth that child with you. And then at the same time, if that child has a good relationship with their father or their mother, why would you want to do something like that? Like, I would say wait, at least, like, this child, he can't even really make legitimate decisions for himself. Like, at least wait till he's an age, like maybe middle school or even high school, to ask him that question. And if you don't even think that's the right time, wait until he's 18 and he can make his own decisions, or she can make her own decisions. That's something that I feel like a parent should not take away from a child without a child having any say so in that.
Yeah, I think that's a rough thing, because I don't know if she really has the right to do that, because I mean, exactly like you said, like, the child really doesn't have a say in it, and at the end of the day, it's his name. And if he wanted to change it, because I mean, you can change your name legally, you know, when you get older, if you want to, you know, legally, but to do it, I feel like it's kind of malicious. And even if it's not, right, that's how it's coming across, and I'm sure he's hurt by it. Right.
I mean, regardless, I mean, he birthed that child, and then kind of like
right,
the way
that's not your child, Russell.
Right. Like, I mean, you and Sierra have a child together, and I mean, granted, you're a wonderful additional parent. Like, I'm not even gonna say step parent. Like, you're a wonderful additional parent, like you are. But that's just one of those things. And it's kind of like with a petition, I don't even think that's gonna hold in court, because you can write a petition all you want to, but for you to be able to actually change that child's name, if Future was at the hospital and signed that birth certificate, he would have to give over rights as that parent. Like, Russell would really have to adopt that child, and he would have to give up rights as that parent. So you can't just petition to make him. And I know that because I kind of went through that situation. Like, my dad that everyone knows, that's my dad, and he wanted to adopt me, but my biological father didn't want to give over those rights. So with him not giving over those rights, if I wanted to change my last name, I couldn't do that unless I just asked, and then my biological father was okay with that, or I became old enough to do it my own. So it's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah, so we would love to hear y'all's thoughts on it. We've seen some of y'all's comments and thoughts on it, but if y'all want to slide us a DM, slide us an email, slide us a voice memo, we'd love to hear your opinions on it too. If you think, we're kind of on the same page, I guess. If you're coming from the other end of the fence, tell us, and for all purposes, argue your case, we'd love to hear it. Now, the world has been taken over by the movie Us. Now, just the simple fact that it's a scary movie with a black family was enough to, I think, bring a lot of attention to it. Right. And then the fact that Jordan Peele did it and everyone knows him as a comedian, right, that brought some attention to it too. But let me first off say, I'm not trying to spoil nothing if you haven't seen it, but we gotta get into this.
We do.
Because
I'm still trying to figure out the movie.
I'm perplexed.
I watched it almost 3 days ago, and I'm still trying to figure it out.
And I just don't understand. I'm like, first of all, it's not what I thought it was going to be.
At all. Like, I really legitimately thought it was going to be like a legit scary horror movie. But, yes. In a sense, it was a thriller to me more so than a horror. Because there are a lot of funny parts in there. Like, you laugh a lot.
I was dying laughing in there. And y'all hear how I sound. I sounded much worse 3 days ago. And I was choking, laughing, coughing in it. So I'm not saying like it was a bad movie, because Khadijah actually asked me right after I saw if it was a good movie, because she saw it later that day. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. But now that I've reflected, I can say it was a good movie.
Yeah,
but
it was a good movie.
Literally, when I just finished watching it, I didn't know what to say. Like, I could not answer, was it a good movie or not? Right.
It's not like it wasn't a good movie, but it wasn't a bad movie. But it's like,
I didn't know what did I watch right now. Like,
I'm still trying to comprehend it.
Right, like, oh my gosh, like, because I really don't want to ruin it for people that haven't watched it. But we have so many questions, and I've seen so many people asking the same questions that I want to know the answers to.
Legit.
And it's like, so there's all these conspiracy theories,
right? Because we deciphered this whole thing yesterday. No, like, seriously. We legit had a whole phone FaceTime conversation trying to decipher this movie, y'all. Like, we was coming up with more and more theories the more we talked about it. We do.
We need to watch it.
Because it got to be something that I missed. Like,
absolutely.
It's probably a couple of things we missed.
Honestly. Like, that's definitely one of those movies where you have to watch it more than once. And you're going to pick up something each time. Because, like...
Right. And it's like you legit have to pay attention. Like, because if you don't, you already are left wondering. So if you don't pay attention, you're going to miss something for sure.
Absolutely. So, like... Oh my gosh, I just don't want to ruin it for y'all. But I just like...
I think the ending is what really, like, has me baffled. Like, I'm still trying to figure that out. That's the main ending, part I'm trying to figure out. Yeah,
because that's like with the twist. Like, the twist...
Yeah.
The twist that I don't know I was that surprised by. Like, I didn't predict it, but it wasn't like, oh, I never saw that coming, you know? But there was like 2 or 3 twists is the thing, and it was like by the second one I was like, wait, pause. I was lost, y'all. I was genuinely lost in this movie, but I was cracking up. There were genuine funny moments. We are not movie critics by any means
at all, y'all. These are personal opinions,
but we was definitely going into this like we was like, what did I just watch? So where should we start?
I don't even know. Like, I'm still on the ending. Like, that's really, we just, like, I'm confused.
So you were telling me this conspiracy theory about the us standing for the United States.
Yeah.
So can you expand on that for our audience, please?
So I read and pulled up a story because, of course, you know, after you watch the movie, you trying to figure stuff out, like, legit. And so I guess he did interviews because a lot of people like, you know, they wanted to, you know, what was going on. And so, like, if you literally go on Google and type like Us movie explained, like, so many things come up, and like interviews that he did and everything. And so I can't remember who he did this interview with, but they pretty much asked him, and I don't know who, even the person who asked him, I don't know how they even came up with that conspiracy,
right?
But they asked him, could us have a double meaning and stand for United States? And if you've seen the movie, they're like, not trying to ruin it, but there's a scene where
I don't think it'll ruin it.
Okay,
there's this one line, because I promise I died laughing at this line, and I don't know if the line's supposed to be funny, but I thought it was hilarious. Anyway, he's like, "Who are y'all?" And damn, I feel like I can't even explain it without ruining it. But it was, the family, the real family. You know, in the trailer, you do see the other family, like the fake family that's in red or whatever. So the fake family was like, "We're Americans,"
right?
And I promise, I bust out laughing. But after you said that, I didn't hear about that conspiracy theory until after I had watched the movie. So when you had said that to me, and I thought right back to that line, because it's like a noticeable line in the movie, and because it's when the climax of the movie started.
Exactly, and it's kind of like, it is funny because if you can laugh at it, you know why it's funny, why they said that. Right. Because us in America today, we ask so many people like, "Who are you? What are you? What do you mean? We're Americans. We live in America." So it's like, it's funny because it's kind of like, the more you think about it, and like I said, the interview that he had, and someone was like, could it be like a double meaning for United States? I mean, that is how we are in the United States. We're always asking people like, "Who are you?" Whether or not they may be like, and none of us are from here, but whether or not they're first or second generation American, like, they were born and raised here in America. So at the end of the day, their ethnicity may be Hispanic or Asian or something, but at the end of the day, y'all, they're Americans. That's what they are.
This is a whole sidebar. I'm sorry to y'all for the sidebar I'm about to say, but I watched The Cat in the Hat today because it is my absolute one of my favorite childhood movies, like the live one. You know,
real one, the real one, babysitting them in the little town.
Yes, it's seriously one of my favorite childhood movies, and I found it on HBO Go today, and it's leaving this month, and so I had to watch it. And there's a scene where he's like, "I don't like the term dog. I prefer canine American." And when I tell y'all, I was busting out laughing. I had to double check the rating of that movie when I was done watching it, because I was like, this cannot be rated PG, because there are so many lewd comments.
But if you think about it, like, people now that we're older, there were a lot in cartoons that we used to watch, and as kids we wouldn't catch on to them, but now that we're adults, it's like, wow, they really just put that in that cartoon.
Right. No, but yeah. If y'all haven't watched Cat in the Hat since like 2009 when it came out, go watch it. It's hilarious. Like, it's still a good movie. Anyways, yeah. If you haven't seen Us, we be plugging so much stuff. I'd be like, we need to get paid for it. Anyway, right. If you haven't seen Us, I do suggest watching Us. And I want to, like, I genuinely want to have discussions about Us with people. So if you've seen it, please DM us.
I really do, because y'all don't understand. Like, the ending of this movie really still has me tripping out. Like, if y'all could see the ending and why, because like she said, it has one of the biggest turns at the end. It's like a flashback that would have been helpful at the beginning of the movie. It doesn't give it to you till like the last 5 minutes. And so now you're left like, what just really happened? Like, no, wait, like, what just happened for real? I genuinely
had so many questions, because I was like, why didn't she want to go to the beach? It, like, why would, because at first I was like, why wouldn't you tell your husband that? But then it made sense, I guess, why she didn't tell her husband.
Right, because it's kind of like, if you see the twist, you see why she didn't tell her husband, because technically.
Right, exactly. You didn't, okay, I don't want to ruin it for y'all. Right. But anyway, we're going to probably continue this conversation when we get off the podcast.
Most likely.
But seriously, DM us, because we want to talk about it. And if you can explain it to me, I'd love to hear it. Honest to God. But anyways, as always, like, subscribe, rate, follow, all of that good stuff on all of our social media panels or platforms. Make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes and on YouTube, but especially on iTunes. Yes. It's important, y'all. hit that purple subscribe button right at the top.
So you can
then slide your way down and give us a little review. If you haven't noticed, if you haven't been on our IG page or our Facebook or our Twitter, which of course you should be, we do have a glow away going on right now. So the rules are really, really simple. It's rate, review, subscribe, screenshot. So it's really, really easy. Just send us a screenshot of you rating and your rate and review of the of one of our episodes on iTunes, and we will enter you into the glow away. And we also have a post up right now that's a brag about yourself post, and so we want to hear about your accomplishments and we want to pat you on the back. Like we said earlier, sometimes we can be our biggest critics, so we'll be your biggest hype man. Okay,
absolutely.
So we are definitely gonna shout out if y'all are bragging about yourself, we want to brag on y'all too. So definitely drop your compliments under there. We're so proud of y'all, and we just want to share it with everybody. So as always, I'm your girl Ariel Rose,
and I'm Khadija J,
and I'll try not to die next time I'm on the show with y'all. Until next time, remember, the harder you grind, the brighter you glow. See you later, glow getters.